Big momentous thing now is putting the wheel back on. It's been a while since this has been back on. Normal winch handle.
It's been a long, hard season. I'm feeling weary to my bones. I guess that's my reason. I've packed my bags and now I'm gone. Somewhere between the sun and the deep blue sea, that's where you find me.
And so it was time to put the boat back in the water. Always a scary time for us sailors. Never quite know whether it's going to sink, whether the seacocks are going to fail by some miraculous stroke. At the end of the day it usually goes okay. But always at the back of your mind there's that niggling thought, what have I missed? What have I missed? I popped round to visit Martin Leaning just to check that the mast was ready to go, and he'd done all the dressing on it. Beautiful job. Absolutely stoked with this one. The guys arrived. They put the shorings away from the around the boat, reversed the trailer up into the boat. This is when it all started to get very exciting or scary. And then really without any drama at all. And away she went. There she goes. And with the anti-foul now done, into the water she went. And just like that, she floats. I am what is known as temporarily disassociated with my boat. This is not an altogether comfortable experience, I find. However, she's currently tied up in the boat hoist dock, waiting for Martin Leaning to put the mast, reset the mast, which is quite exciting. I've moved the dinghy, put that back in the water, so that was an experience. So far so good, no major dramas so far. She hasn't sunk, and that's always a plus point. Cool, right, cracking on. Wow. So that's hail. Okay, let's talk about pipes, dear viewer. I've had a bit of a horrific experience this afternoon. I thought I'll fill up my water tanks, and whilst filling up my water tanks I thought, ooh, I know what I'll do. I'll make sure nothing's leaking in the back end of the boat. So wanders off down to the back end of the boat, crawls into the cavity behind, has a quick look around with the torch and realises that the pipes that we've got are not quite as good as we expected. Normally you would expect your water pipe to be a nice clear pipe. Would you expect it to look like this? Let's just focus on this for a second. Look at that. Okay. So that is the insides of our water pipe. Filthy. Didn't realise. Never really had a problem with the water. Ooh, smells a bit and all. But if we look down inside there, and I don't know whether, let's just see if we can focus again on that there. You can see down inside here, sort of this area here is quite grim. Now, that water pipe has been in use for, I think, probably about 16 years. So what should your average water hose look like? Well, the breather hose should look a bit like this. Clear. That you would expect your normal hose to look a bit like this. So, you know, not shitty. So this is the current one, and oh my gosh, just let that go. So current one, which we were happy with, and new one. There we go. So the moral of the story, folks, O says check your water hoses. So work continues apace, going to fit the new set of Spinlock clutches. Luckily the Bavaria has a plate in the back of it, so usefully I just drill through here and tap the size I want, which is quite neat. So I've marked these out in pencil for my exact mounting holes. They'll go like that there, and that'll be another job done. We've got the holes here, here and here ready to go, and I'm going to drill these holes with a brand new 6mm bit. Now, belt and braces, I'm going to determine the depth by taking my drill bit, putting a piece of tape over it, and looking at where the previous holes were drilled to, the length of that. So that's how I'm getting that. It's belt and braces, but it will do. So I'll stop by the time I hit that tape. I'm going to go really, really slow, really slow, and drill through these 6 holes. Okay. Right, now we're going to tap the hole with this 6mm tap, and I know that the depth that I've got to go to is approximately sort of to the end of the tap, so somewhere there-ish, so that's fine. It's not that complicated, and I'm going to put a tiny bit of lubrication on with WD-40. I mean, I know this might not be the right one, but I just feel that a little bit of that might just help the thread a little. So we're just going to start gently putting the tap in, and if we get any resistance we'll back it up and come back out again. So that's the first 3 done. Apologies for the background noise, they're kind of busy on the old crane. Yeah, we're on the last thread now, just nice and steadily. So again, just putting it in just a tiny bit, letting it take the pressure up, cutting it, coming back. It's a long drawn out process, but ultimately worth it. There we go, that's the last one done. The next stage is to countersink the holes, and this is a very important process. this allows us to put the sealant into the countersunk hole, and we'll explain why. But we now have 6 countersunk holes, and essentially this will allow the sealant that we're going to use, which is butyl, to sink into those countersink holes and fill the gap and compress itself. It's a tried and tested method. Well, yeah, and you should work really, really well. See, I'm not going to put sealant on the caps inside in here because I'm turning those. What I am going to do is I'm going to put sealant around this section here. The process by doing that is take a little bit of the butyl and literally just wrap it around the screw head, something along those lines, push it up, and what you have to do is very, very carefully turn each screw and take the unit down in one go, otherwise it doesn't work. I'm also going to put some Duralac on these stainless steel screws because we're going into aluminium, because it's 2 different metals and you want to have some kind of anti corrosive resistance type stuff. Duralac is this stuff here, and this is an old pack I've had about 2 or 3 years, and I sort of smear a bit of that on the bolts. Job's good, really. This is kind of what we want it to look like. Now obviously there are as many ways to fit sealant as there are days in the week. This is the way I do it. It's worked for me. The idea being is that the sealant beds into the countersunk hole and we put everything down at the same time. Nothing's perfect. I just don't want to stick it in. I want to make sure that I can get these out again. And inside, I don't know if you can see it in the hole, you can see there's the yellow stuff. That is the Duralac that has already been placed within to coat the threads. So we'll proceed to putting everything together.